Welcome to the Martin Bailey Photography Podcast. It's August 14, 2018, and this is episode 629. I recently bought two slide straps from Peak Design and thought I'd provide a quick review of these straps today, having now used them extensively for the past couple of months. More and more of my workshop participants have been turning up using the Peak Design slide camera strap system, so I'd had my eyes on this system for a while. And then I met a listener earlier this year at Canon's headquarters to see my exhibition there, and he had one of these straps on his camera, so I took a good look at it. I was impressed with the flexibility of use and the quality of the product, so I decided to change my camera straps for the first time in around 8 years. In the slide package you get the strap, obviously, and a total of 4 anchor links and a small anchor mount that you can attach to the tripod mount screw on the bottom of the camera, and there's a hex key to help with that. There's also a nice pouch to put the strap in, which I thought initially was unnecessary, but because there are metal parts on the strap, I actually use these to store the straps in my bag to stop the metal from rubbing against my camera and lenses, so I decided that this was a nice addition. Note that I've illustrated the post for this episode with some images of the strap and my configurations with my camera, so to follow along, if you're not already there, do go to the blog at mbp.ac/629. I didn't include this in the photo, but when you remove that piece of white card with Find Your Peak written on it from the packaging, there is more helpful information on the various configurations of the strap, etc. So I felt that the packaging is very well thought out. By the way, that's my black strap in the first photo, but as you can see in the second photo, I bought a grey strap at the same time. I sometimes do use 2 straps at the same time, and I figured that it would be nice to have a choice of colour. As we proceed, I'm going to talk about the points that have made this my new camera strap of choice, in the order of importance to me. This might not be the same order that you'd choose, but bear with me, as we will cover everything that I believe is important to talk about. The most impressive thing about this system is the anchor links. These work incredibly well, enabling us to quickly attach or remove the camera strap by simply pushing down on the button-shaped disc on the anchor and then slide it out of the connector housing. Of course, attaching the strap is even easier. You just have to drop the disc into the housing and pull on the strap until it snaps into place. I'm a firm believer in using gear that works for us, not against us. Everything I use in my photography helps me to work smoothly rather than get in the way. I take my camera straps off a lot while shooting. For example, if I'm working on a tripod in a bit of a breeze, with the strap attached to the camera, it can move around in the wind and introduce camera shape, especially if it starts to bang against the tripod legs. Because of this, I generally remove the strap when using a tripod, but then I put it back on again as I move to another location. So literally for me, a camera strap might be attached and detached some 20 or 30 times a day, so it needs to be a quick and easy operation. As you can see from this next image, I have attached an anchor to both the top left and right side strap loops on my camera, as well as the loop on the bottom right side of my battery grip. Attaching one end of the strap to the battery grip like this allows the camera to swing down at such an angle that my hand goes straight to the right side grip, with my finger falling naturally on the shutter button as I raise the camera to my eye. If I attach the strap to the top left and right loops, I can of course simply use the slide as a regular camera strap. To make this camera work as a sling and to stop it from sliding around when you use it as a regular camera strap, The Peak Design team have ingeniously added two strips of silicone on just one side of the strap, so you can use the smooth side when you're using the strap as a sling, and when you want it to stay put, just flip the strap over so that the silicone grip is in contact with your clothing. This works really well. I don't always use my camera with the battery grip, sometimes preferring to just take it off and shoot with the lower profile camera. So the addition of the anchor mount is really useful too. As you can see in this next photo, it screws into the tripod mount on the bottom of the camera, giving you an optional position to attach the strap if you want to use it in a sling configuration, but you don't have a battery grip with the third loop. Of course, when I'm working like this, I'm not using a tripod, so the mount generally stays on like this until I put my battery grip with the Really Right Stuff L bracket back onto the camera. In addition to my old camera straps, I sometimes used a camera sling system for my long lenses, but that requires that I take along both straps when I travel, and I find it a bit annoying to have to attach the special ring that they provide to the lens foot, especially as I have to then detach it again to use the lens on a tripod. That slows me down, and I always like to find ways to maintain my flow rather than interrupting it. With the Peak Design slide strap, I was able to simply attach one of the anchor loops to the front of my lens foot from Really Right Stuff, and attach one end of the strap to that, while leaving the other end attached to the camera body. The camera then swung down by my side as a sling strap, and I could easily swing it back up to my eye to shoot whenever necessary. Another thing that I like about this method of using the slide strap as a sling is that I have the strap connected to both the lens and the camera. My old sling only attached to one ring, usually on the lens, and that allows the camera to rotate and come away from the lens in certain situations. To prevent the camera from dropping to the floor, I used to feed the shorter straps left after taking my main strap off the camera back through the sling strap. With the slide though, because the camera and lens are both being supported, it's much less likely that the lens would work loose, so I don't feel as though I need a safety leash now. And that is once again less weight to travel with. Talking about weight, if you're wondering how much weight this system can carry, apparently the Anchor Link system is rated to up to 200 pounds or 90 kilograms. On the packaging, it says if the red core starts to show through on the line anchor thread, it's time to change them. For their thickness, it's surprising, but so far I have felt very safe and had no issues with my large DSLR and battery grip, as well as when using with my 100 to 400mm, which is a relatively hefty setup. The last thing that I want to talk about has both good and bad aspects. To easily adjust the length, there is a quick adjuster on either end of the strap. You pull the metal clasp out and then can easily shorten or lengthen the strap. As long as there is some tension or downward pull on the strap, these adjusters are rock solid and work great. However, if, for example, you have the camera on your lap, as mine often was as we travelled around in Namibia in June, if you even slightly nudge the adjusters, they slide down very easily, even with the clasp in the locked position. This meant that a number of times I found the camera hanging down much lower than I had originally set it, and I found that the quick adjusters had worked their way almost to the full extent of the strap. Of course, because they're quick adjusters, it only takes a second to shorten them again. But I can't help thinking that once they're locked, they should be doing a better job of maintaining the user's chosen length for the strap. That is the only gripe, and it's a relatively small gripe rather than a problem. All in all, I've been very happy with my decision to switch to the Peak Design slide strap, and can fully recommend them if you're looking for a new or better way to carry your camera. I love it when a piece of gear helps me to overcome issues or make my shooting workflow smoother, and these straps definitely do that. This review has not been sponsored in any way. I'm just sharing information on a product that works for me in the hope that it might help you with your photography too. You can find the slide strap and all of their other great products over on the Peak Design website at peakdesign.com. And if you want to help support the blog and podcast, you can also use our B&H affiliate link, which is mbp.ac/pdslide. Thanks very much for listening today. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share a link with your friends. Subscribe in iTunes or your favorite podcast program to ensure uninterrupted delivery. If you have a moment to rate the podcast or leave us a review in iTunes, that helps to keep us relevant in the huge number of podcasts out there now. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and Google+, etc. and links to everything that I'm up to are at martinbaileyphotography.com, so do drop by and take a look. I'll be back next week with another episode, but in the meantime, you take care and have a great week, whatever you're doing. Bye-bye.